Now let's talk about how to create contrast with values, okay? So remember, contrast means difference, right? We want to create difference using value as our tool here, okay? So most of the time we create contrast and we make things stand out using outlines, right? We give like a shape, a line. So here's a cylinder. We give it a line, and then boom, it's that, like, you can see the shape, right? The way drawing works, the way any real 2D art works, is you use contrast to create the illusion of like form, right? 3-dimensional or 2-dimensional shapes, right? The contrast that's happening here is this medium or dark line against the white, right? Because this is a different value than this, we can see it. If it was all the same value, we can't see it, right? So for example, we can see this plane up here, right? This ellipse up here. If I shade in this part of my cylinder, like so, to be the same value as the lines, then you can now see, sorry, I'm talking so slow. You can now see that this top portion stands out from this cylinder, right? And that's how you can use value to make different parts stand out, right? That's how we can use value to create contrast. We assign one specific value to one part of our drawing, and then we assign another value to another part of our drawing, okay? If I shade in this top part here with that exact same value, now there's no contrast, and now you can't see the top, okay? So the same could be true, right? Like if you want things to not stand out from each other, make them the same value. If you want them to stand out from each other, you need to make them different values. Okay? Like so. Right? Okay. So here we're starting with a cylinder. I just drew a cylinder. We're going to start with a cylinder. Next, you're going to add in your other shapes to create a still life here. I'm going to add in a sphere. I'm going to put it in front of my cylinder. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this, right, for the sake of speed. I don't want you to have to watch me do all the measuring and stuff. But if you guys need to do the measuring, please do the measuring. Okay. Boom. We have our sphere. So my cylinder has a like light gray top here. I'm gonna have my sphere be white. Okay. Now, moving on to my rectangular prism, I'm gonna have it be behind right here. My rectangular prism is gonna have 3 different faces that we're gonna be able to see. So I'm gonna start with a light mark here, light mark here. And I'm drawing through the sphere because I need to see where it's gonna go, right? I don't want it to be like, I don't want to accidentally draw the wrong line just because I can't see it. And then I can just erase anything that overlaps. Looking at my sphere right now, it's a little off because I didn't measure properly. And this is why we measure properly, guys. Okay, so now my sphere and my rectangular prism are the same, right? They're the same value, and I want them to be different from each other. So I'm gonna give this plane here a medium value, and then we're going to give this top plane a light value. Right? And now it's going to stand out. Finally, we're going to add in a cone. So I want my focal point to be around here. It's not the best composition, but whatever. This is just an example. You're going to do a better composition in the independent practice, okay? So here's my cone. Now they're all overlapping each other, right? I don't want it to be white because my my sphere is white. So I'm going to make it also light gray. Okay. There we go. We have a light gray cone, okay? Or a medium gray cone, actually. Let's do a medium because we don't have medium yet. Now, I'm going to show you, you can use contrast to also no longer need lines to represent your shapes, right? So things in real life, we don't have outlines, okay? So we're taught to draw using lines, but now I'm going to teach you how to get rid of the lines, right? And you only have to rely on contrast to really show your shapes. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to make the whole background the one value that we're missing, and that's black. Okay, so I'm not going to do the entire background just because it's going to take some time. But we're going to make our shapes really stand out by putting them all next to this black background. This is going to take a little bit, sorry. And you're also going to notice now that I'm adding this black background, right? It used to be white, right? This white sphere is going to stand out so much more, right? It's already kind of happening. The less white I have in this drawing, the more that sphere is going to stand out. And I really have to do the entire, like honestly, I have to do the entire background to prove my point, but I don't think you guys want to watch me just like shade in the whole background here. We're gonna, once you start shading, guys, you're gonna start needing to sharpen your pencils a lot. Just an FYI. Okay. Okay, you're seeing all of the like pencil strokes still. That's partially because I'm kind of doing it quickly. I don't want you guys to like have to watch me this whole time. But hopefully it's proving the point here that if you create contrast, right, you'll be able to see your shapes without even needing those lines, right? Yes, there's a line here. If I had drawn it lighter, which I think I should have, now that I think about it, you would still be able to see it, okay? This line here, if we make this shape a little bit darker, it'll start to disappear, right? Just don't make this too dark or else it's gonna go back into the background and not stand out against the background, right? So there we go, right? We're creating contrast. We're making our shapes pop out a lot more than compared to before, right? So if you go back in the video and compare the two, then you'll see these shapes now look more realistic and they stand out more because we add shading to it. We add some values to it, okay? It's a little messy, but I'm just trying to get through the video here. So so that you don't have to watch me do this the whole time, the whole class period, I mean. Okay. There you go. For now, if it's messy, if we're still working on it, right, that's okay. Oh, it's a bit of a glare. Yeah, you'll notice that pencil is very shiny, right? So it's gonna create glare. Notice I also tried to avoid putting my hand on the drawing because that will like mess up my hand in your hand too. So yeah, you're gonna want to use different values for each shape, right? Each part of the shape, okay? So if this is the top of a cylinder, you don't want that to be the same as the main part of the cylinder, right? The side of a cylinder. For this rectangular prism, you don't want this value to be the same as this value, or else it's just gonna look like one shape. You want this to look like one face of your rectangular prism, okay? Next lesson, we're gonna be learning about how to shade, like create like shadows and stuff. For now, we're just generally adding in values to create contrast, okay? And that's how you would use values to create contrast.